Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's happening, founders? We are here for the Elevate podcast today. It's January 22nd. I'm so excited to be here along with my partner in crime, Mr. Simon Severino. Simon, what's happening?
It's referral party.
Yeah, we're having a referral party today. So if you're a founder thinking about like, how do I get more referrals? This is the show for you. So excited to be here. We're going to dive in and answer every question that a founder may potentially have about how to get started, run, and move in a great direction with a referral flywheel. If you don't have a referral flywheel, or if you don't even know what a flywheel is, again, stay tuned. This one's going to be great. And don't forget, pay attention. Next week, we're going to be diving into storytelling in sales. So if you feel like you suck on camera not telling great stories, next week is going to be the one for you. But with that said, let's get into our content for today. Mr. Simon, we're diving right into the referral flywheel. First of all, any big wins? What are you doing? How you doing?
Last week we talked about the new app and I was building it. Meanwhile, big win, 160 people are in the app, are having fun. They're completing the messaging challenge. So I put all my heart into a messaging challenge, 14 questions that guide you through nailing your positioning and messaging. I made a video for each one. They are completing it. And they are ranking up the leaderboard, congratulating each other, reading what the others say. And so they're learning about themselves and the others. They are networking. Big win. I'm happy.
Yeah, well, hey, getting Simon happy. I mean, like Simon says, if he's happy, it's happy, right? Let's go. So excited to hear that, Simon. Congratulations. We got a lot of stuff going on over at the Flow Chat camp as well. We have an affiliate program that's like busting out of the seams right now, which I'm really, really pleased about and excited about. I launched a new 30-day text campaign. So when we get into some marketing stuff, I want to drop that one on you guys because that campaign did $3 million in 60 days for a friend of mine. I'm going to show it to you guys when it's time. So that one's a really powerful one. We're testing at full scale right now, and I'll let you know our results as we go. But Simon, let's dive into referral systems and talk about it. What is a referral flywheel? Maybe let me just give a quick definition. Referral flywheel. So a flywheel in anywhere, what it is a device that creates centrifugal force, spinning force, that will continue to perpetuate on its own forever. That's the definition of a flywheel. What we want to build in everyone's business is a referral flywheel. So let's talk about it. Question one, Simon, to you. What are the foundational steps to creating a referral system that can scale effortlessly?
Most people don't have a system. They just hope that they will get referrals. And that's the most terrible thing I've been hearing for the last 12 years. When I meet somebody, hey, what's your sales system? Well, I get referrals. How do you ask for referrals? I'm not asking. So how do you get referrals? Well, sometimes the phone rings. That is not a system, right? That's hope.
Yikes.
But it's happening. It's happening a lot. So that's probably 90% even of the people listening right now. Now, from there, how do you get to a referral flywheel? Step one is to define who your offer is for, what is it for, and to actually create a one-pager. Like, let me show you my referral one-pager. This is who you should refer to me. This is why. This is what I can do for them. So who's my ideal client? What do I deliver for them? And who is my ideal partner? Now you see who you can refer to me, why, and also who would be a great referral partner. So that's on two levels interesting, right? So the first step is you get clarity in written about who is the perfect referral for you. That's step one. Step two, and I like to have it in written, right? Because it's easy for partners. You can send it, you can share it. Everybody knows now what the perfect referral is. So that's step one. Step two, now you start asking your own clients for referrals. When should you start? And maybe we talk about the tactical things later, but quickly, when should you start? When should you ask for a referral? Not at the end of working together, at the beginning of them having breakthrough, at the beginning. Why at the beginning? Even if it's day 5, because when you ask for the first time, you will not get the referral. You will get it the second time, the third time, the fourth time. That's why you ask early at the first breakthrough, What is a breakthrough? They Slack you, they message you, they DM you, dude, I just cut my cost by 40%. Dude, I just doubled my revenue with your templates. That's when you ask for the first time. Don't expect a referral, but the second time you will ask, you will probably get one. So it's
Wah,
the
wah,
second thing.
wah. I need the noise. Come on, Simon. Where's the
Pew,
noise,
pew,
man?
pew,
That was
pew.
a.
I think it's here. Then,
There it was. There it was. Cool. Yeah. So I just want. I just want to say that's a big point, man. I think that's a really valid point for everyone listening. When do you ask for referrals? Your answer was when your prospect or new client starts to have breakthroughs or micro transformational moments. Those are the key things to doing this. So, totally a wonderful answer again. How do you start building a referral flywheel? Simon said the key thing is you got to know who you're looking for. So write it down on a piece of paper, create all of the clarity around how you could give somebody a one sheeter like Simon shared and give that to somebody and they can look at it instantly and be like, oh yeah, I know 10 people that fit the description. And the only thing that's left now is a little bit of a bridge of helping that person connect you to the next person, right? And so when you do those kind of couple of things, you can actually have a referral system in your business. So most people are like, a system, it's got to have like all these working parts. No, 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 no. If you have the clarity sheet and a way to help your current clients or prospects ask for referrals with that sheet, you now have a referral system in your business. Congratulations. It's an easy thing to do. Now let's talk about moving it to the next level into a place where how do we create this flywheel thing that just keeps spinning forever? So Simon, question two, diving in, how do you incentivize referrals in a way that feels authentic and non-transactional? Now again, we could talk money, we could talk other things, but just again, in your case, how do you incentivize people giving referrals to you?
so let's go group by group. One group is your current clients. One group is your past clients. One group is your non-clients. Then we have the group, your colleagues, your employees. Then we have the group directly customer-facing versus non-customer-facing employees. So let's look at clients. How do you incentivize that? People are inherently motivated to help other people. They don't want to help you, and they don't care about your product, but they know people that need help. And so as soon as they find something that works, they are actually inherently interested in telling others. Look at people who do CrossFit for the second time. They start talking about CrossFit to everybody. It gets annoying. And it's not about CrossFit.
I just want to make a point there. What Simon said was so true. There's so many fake gurus out there, right, that teach this or that or that or that, and they've never done the thing. And so, unfortunately, us as consumers buy that stuff, which sucks because we've all been through it, and it never works. So, what's interesting in a positive light or positive spin on what Simon just said is like when somebody sells you something that actually gets the results, it's this refreshing vibe that you get. And it's like you actually, it creates desire to want to share it to other people because you're getting results. So that's a key point. If you're not getting people results right now, go back and figure out your minimum viable product and what can get people results and get them the first result as fast as you can and then help them to talk about that. That's what Simon's talking about. Keep going, Simon. You're awesome. You're on a roll.
That's one. The other one is past clients. Catch up. Hey, how are you doing? I'm just wondering. It's 6 months later. I wanted to catch up. And then wait for a clue. Sometimes there is a clue in there that says, oh, by the way, who else needs this? And that's a great natural moment to ask, by the way, who else needs this? Okay, you don't need it right now. Who needs this? And then the third one is your non-clients. So this week you're having sales calls. Some of them you're not closing. Well, ask them who else needs this. Okay, you don't need this right now. Fine, I will circle back in 90 days. But now I'm curious, who needs this? So there are two outcomes of any sales conversation. One is you close the deal. The second one is you got a referral. And you always schedule the next call, but there are two outcomes, either closed deal or opened new opportunity.
Love that, right? And when you do this correctly, what's really magical? Alex Ramosi says it best in a lot of his books and his stuff. And again, I've known Alex for a long time personally. Actually, I met him when he was sleeping on a couch, not making any money. Now he's making hundreds of millions, right? So, one of the things that he says is he created or he came up or he found this marketing formula that says if you can get every client to refer 1.1 people to you, okay? You've now created a flywheel that will grow your business to infinity. And all you need to do is keep that program running. So what Simon said a second ago, I think is really valuable. He said, what we need to do is create groups of people. So now we're going from just a referral. So the basic referral system again is here's a piece of paper of who I'm searching for. And here's a script of how you can help the next person get your referral. That's a system. Now we're building on the foundation. What Simon said is break it into groups of people that could refer you. Clients, past clients, current employees, like there's buckets of people. And then you can start to build little tiny campaigns to run to each one of those groups. I call them micro campaigns. And if you're having somebody in your team, preferably on your sales side, focused on all the little micro referral campaigns, that becomes a task in itself to get that magic golden number of how do I get 1.1 referrals per client. That is the golden ticket. That's the Willy Wonka number. Come on, Simon. You know Willy Wonka. That's what I'm talking about. So again, micro campaigns to the right groups of people, and then start doing it yourself and put somebody into the system, because it's, again, as the founder, your job is not to be in the business. Rather, it's to be sitting in the owner's box, watching the business run and strategically being guided or guiding that thing down the path that you want to do. So this is kind of the way to do it. So great answers there. Let's move on to question 3. Here we go. Simon, what are the most common reasons referral programs fail? And if I was building one, how do I avoid those?
Okay, let's step it up to referral programs, because so far there was an individual doing the act of generating referrals. Now let's step it up to a program, because this is where the flywheel starts. Many listeners are professional services, marketing agencies, consulting agencies, IT shops, design shops. What's the best way to scale a design shop, marketing shop? Most agencies don't know, actually. They think it's not scalable. There is a scaling mechanism, and it's the referral flywheel. How do you do that? 2 groups of people that you incentivize. So in our case, every Friday we come together. Everybody has one swim lane, one thing they are end-to-end responsible for. Right now, I'm responsible for the app. Every Friday, I have to report to my team how many sprinters are in there. So this week, Friday, I will report 160. Next week, I will report above 200, hopefully, right? That's the plan.
So and I just want to interrupt you for like 30 seconds and just say this, Simon. As other founders are listening to what Simon just said, Simon has designed and built his business in a way where he can give himself space to focus on one thing. Most founders are wearing too many hats. So this is another problem that we do have to combat and go through and figure out how do we do this, right? So maybe that'll be another episode's content. But Simon, I just think it's really valuable because look, you're doing millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you're the CEO and the visionary of this organization. But here you're telling everybody on this call right now, you're this pod, you're saying, I just focus on this thing every single week. Like, that's pretty awesome. So that's a great goal for founders too. Keep going, Simon. I just want to
every Monday we come together, and everybody, including me, has to report about their main thing for that week. So even if maybe I have 3, 4, or 5 responsibilities, I have to say in front of the team, this is my priority number 1, and this is what I'm going to report on Friday. And everybody has the chance to say, Simon, that's not the most important thing. We need you to do da-da-da. Okay, forget YouTube. You should do this. You should hire that person. That new role, for example. And so it's a chance on Monday to actually make sure that everybody is on their most important thing. And then on Friday, we have to report. So how to create a referral flywheel? Internal positions, let's say a customer success person or even an assistant. can get incentivized by picking her number for the week as how many referrals have you asked for? Because why couldn't an assistant ask for referrals? Assistants know exactly what's going on. They know the clients, they know the email correspondence. Why shouldn't they ask? Or sometimes it's people in operations that think, well, I'm just building the thing. Right? Well, yeah, you are building the thing and you are seeing the backlog. So you are seeing what people actually pull, how they use it, how they misuse it. And you are one of them who has knowledge. And so you can incentivize even those people by saying, okay, build a thing. And on Friday, I want you to report how many opportunities for referrals did you see. You don't even have to ask, but tell me the opportunities so that the salespeople can ask or ask directly. Then you have operations, proper operations. For example, if you are in marketing, they are running the marketing campaigns. If you are in consulting, those are the people advising the clients. Those people you have to incentivize via referrals. Even part of the payment will be in percentage based on referrals, based on new business development. And part of new business development is each Friday, how many referrals did you ask for? That's an input metric in our focus card. And how many did you get? That's an output metric. And both are important because the output is not in your control. So if you pick only an output metric, you will be frustrated. The input is in your control. How many asks did you do? That's in your control. But if you measure only the input, that doesn't really matter. So you need both. And the input is important because that's in your control. So scaling an agency is mainly by incentivizing both internal and client-facing roles to continuously ask for referrals. And even in some weeks, they won't ask anybody. It's fine. It's fine. But you have that conversation on a Friday and they can ask you questions. Oh, I'm not sure if how do you ask? And then you have that conversation. It's Friday and it's a very valuable conversation.
Friggin' spot on. So let me just recap some bullet points because I like the bullet points, how I learn and live, and I learned so much from you. And so let's understand today, number one, clarity on who your perfect client is that you can give to somebody to get a referral. A messaging system or a way to help that person. So number two, so you have the written thing. Number two, you have this, hey, Mr. Prospect, this is how I'd like you to ask to tee me up for this referral. So it's a way for them to, a bridge for them to actually help you. The next thing we need to do to avoid all of the pitfalls or a referral system failing is we got to have input metrics and output metrics. Okay. So how many referrals a week are you asking for? How many are you getting? That's an easy KPI to measure. And then the last piece is now we start to put a little bit of responsibility onto our sales, marketing, whoever, assistants and so on and so forth to say, hey, with your daily tasks, your job is part of this referral system. You have to ask for 2 referrals a week. If you have 5 people in your company, times 2, you're now asking for 10 referrals per week. Some people aren't going to give you any, some people are going to give you a lot. The cool news is this is a new entry point for your business so that you can actually allow more and more people to refer you. This also creates great testimonial stories and some other things that you can build off the back. So great stuff there, Simon. I think that's really awesome on how to avoid referral programs from failing. Let's move on to the next question. How do you track and measure the success of a referral program, and what metrics kind of matter most? We talked about inputs and output metrics. Like, Simon, what are the other ones that matter or make sense, and how do we measure the overall success of a referral program?
Many people like to ask the NPS question. So how likely is it that you recommend us? And it's a good way, I think, to start, especially in the first years when you have a new product or a new service. So when we started our 90 days, we double your revenue consulting process, we were asking 3 times in 90 days for the NPS, and we wanted it to move up. And when you start asking it, it's very frustrating. You get some very low numbers because it goes from minus 100 to plus 100. So you get some pretty terrible numbers in the beginning. The good thing is from week to week, that's why every Friday you look at it so that you get it up 1% each Friday. And so when you get it up into the 60s, 70s, 80s, you can stop doing it. It will take time to get there. But as soon as you are in the 70s, 80s, you don't need to look at it anymore. Now you have a mature product or a mature program, you have a flagship program. You can probably double the price now because it is bulletproof. It works under different conditions in different countries, probably. Otherwise, you wouldn't get to that number. And now you can start teaching others. This is how I started the certification. So when we were here, I said, all right, guys, now I have something that works on repeat. I can certify other coaches now. Do you want to become a certified strategy sprints coach? And now you incentivize them by saying every Friday, you will ask them for referrals. This is how we grow the whole pie, the whole company. So you win, we win, the company wins. That's the overall flywheel on how to grow a brand, right? When everybody has a little flywheel, the whole thing has a flywheel. And so you bake it into the job description, into the agreements, and every Friday you learn from it.
I mean, well said. I don't really have anything to add on that, guys. You heard it best from Simon because he's the man. He's done this thousands of times, as have I, and with other people just to help them get moving and rocking. That again, tracking and measuring the success of a referral program again starts with the basics. First of all, the checklist. Do you have that one sheet, or do you have a way to help people ask for referrals for you, right? Now, two, do you have who on your team? Who's the person? We got to find the who that can actually, we can bake this into the responsibilities. And then we start setting small KPI metrics. Hey, you got to ask two this week, two next week. Okay, the two you asked for this week, how many referrals actually bought? You start tracking those metrics, and all of a sudden, company wide, everybody starts to rally around this thing and everybody wins. So I think that's probably the most important metrics. Again, the superstar, the North Star, the guiding light, the shining principle, the one metric that should be mattering is how many referrals per client are you getting in your business. If you can get that magic number to equal 1.1, your business will grow indefinitely forever. So just something really great to think about. I think that's awesome. Number 5, before we jump into lightning round, Simon, what strategies have you used to motivate not just your customers, but also employees, partners to actively refer for you?
Yeah, in the end, it's cash flow, right? If can you distribute the cash flow from referrals as much as possible? So let's say you're a coach and you're using the brand and the processes. Yes, you can use them, but what if you can get that flywheel working for you? So now you're growing your business and you're making cash flow from these referrals. That's the most direct incentive, right?
Yeah, I
Everybody
would say
makes more
I
money
think like
if
cash
they
flow,
ask.
number one, absolutely all the time. Like, hey, get a referral amount or something like that. A lot of companies build affiliate programs that are designed for this. It's just disguised as here's my affiliate program, just refer me people that you know. That's what an affiliate program is a basic bones. And so I think there's, if you missed our episode last week, go back and catch it on gamification because we talked a lot of stuff about how to gamify certain parts of your business. Referrals is definitely one of them. A lot of ways that I've seen this done. Number one, somebody says, say you have a program you're selling for 5 grand or whatever, maybe it's a 6-month program or a 3-month program, something like that. And you're like, okay, if you bring me 5 people, your course for the next 2 months is free. Okay, so that's a cool way to incentivize somebody, right? Another way to do it, hey, every time this person pays me every single month, you get dollars, right? Another way to pay somebody to do that. Another way to do it is to promise merch if you happen to sell shirts or hats or stuff that, like books, like Simon's got books out. I'm writing books right now, so we'll have them soon. But the idea is, hey, if you bring me one person, I'm actually going to send you an autographed copy of my book. Again, it's an exchange of value, right? So there's just a lot of ways to think through some of the ways to motivate not just your customers, but your employees. One of the things we also do is like, hey, if you refer X people this month, this quarter, we give you a single night with an in-home chef doing an experience. Cool way to get somebody to do that, right? So a lot of cool things that you can do there. Okay, let's move on to the lightning round. Simon, do you have anything to add before we move into the lightning round?
One thing that we are exploring is who gets motivated by which kind of incentives.
Hmm.
Some people get motivated by money, other people get motivated by other things. And the other things, they're hard to get to, but sometimes it's they're motivated by getting feedback on something that they're building. So we're working with entrepreneurs. They, for example, if they get feedback on something that they are building, if they get attention on something that they want attention to, sometimes that's more worth to them than a monetary component. So maybe over the next weeks, I will have more insights. But what we are looking into right now is what are different incentives for affiliates that are non-monetary, especially because the monetary are usually small. And so what else can be a win-win situation? But it's an open question. I don't have an answer. We're
I
looking
would
for.
definitely encourage you to look down the route of direct mail. One of the things that I learned from Russell Brunson early in the game when I was first, and this is why he sends out stuff in the mail, and I actually haven't done it, so shame on me for not following my coach's orders. But I mean, we've done it. We did build a big merch store. We did send out a lot of merch and stuff like that, but he's got it built into his systems. And so one of the things that he found to be incredibly motivating for people that do referral stuff is to send them an unexpected gift in the mail, whether it be your book, whether it be a shirt, a hat, and it's just a quick short note to say, hey, thinking of you, want to say thanks for the referral. Here's this cool shirt. Hopefully this is the right size for you. If you can somehow collect their shirt size or get their hat size, like that's amazing. Because when somebody gets something in the mail, they always remember it. Here's the big thing that I see as a trend in the whole entire industry right now. Back in the 1970s, 1980s, all direct marketing was direct mail. That's why we call it direct marketing, because it was in the mail, right? After about 1983, 1985, 1987, internet born 1990, what happened was the shift from the industry went from direct mail in the USPS into the internet game, right? And so now all these Gen Zers, all these younger millennials have never received any good direct marketing mail in their mailbox. So if you come out and you actually drop that in their mailbox, it will be so refreshing to them, so new to them, they'll never forget who you are, because 99% of businesses don't do this. Yes, it's a little bit of a cost, but again, as you build this referral flywheel, you should generate some cash flow. Keep a little kitty from some of that money, and then start using that to fund those little gifts like that. That will grow your business crazy. So cool ideas to think about. Let's move on to the two lightning round. We need like a lightning sound. I don't know what the lightning one is like. That'd be cool. But what's the biggest mistake you've made when building a referral system, and what'd you learn from it?
Mistakes from the referral. The first one was not being crystal clear on who is the best referral 5 levels deep. Maybe you just say, oh, it's for insert broad category here, like it's for female entrepreneurs. Well, that's not very specific. The more specific 5 levels deep, the better. And our mistake was just assuming that it's specific if you don't write it down, and then even if you have it specific, that it lands on the other side very specific. That's why we wrote it down 5 levels deep and we send it and we share it, but it came from the mistake of just assuming.
Yeah, that was. I was actually going to say almost the exact same mistake that I've made a number of times, is just not being specific enough. And the worst thing, the worst mistake I ever made, I had a dear friend. We just sold him. He got started, and I'm like, "Hey, who else do you care about that should be going on this adventure with you?" And he goes, "Oh, you need to talk to my friend Scott." So he teased me up with Scott. I got on the phone with Scott, and I had so much pressure from my other friend that I just closed that I felt I had to work to do anything I could to close this deal so I could compensate my buddy. And so I closed the deal. Okay, yeah, great, Sean, that's awesome. But this guy, Scott, became the biggest pain in the ass client we'd ever had. And it was hell to get rid of him. That was the biggest mistake that I ever made. And so, again, one of the big things, the lesson that I learned was if somebody is a friend or somebody's a close person that refers somebody to you, say thank you very much for the referral. Just understand that, like, good or bad, like whatever happens is happens, and there's no pressure for me to actually go close this deal for you, right? Because I had that pressure that was sitting on my shoulders, and that caused me to force a bad client into my company, which caused all kinds of shitty chaos. And so that's the one other big mistake that I made when I was doing referral stuff. But I think if you have a very clear picture, again, the system that we built, this clarity sheet that Simon showed earlier today, it's got to show, what is it again? What are the three things? You got to say who it is. What are the other two in your sheet? So it's like
Who is
the
the
who it
ideal
is.
referral? 5 levels deep.
Okay.
What can you help them accomplish or solve?
Transformation you can give them. Yep.
And the third part is who is an ideal strategic partner?
Perfect. Okay. So when you have that sheet and now you have a little script or something that you can share with them, say, here's how you can ask to team me up. Now you have a system, right? And so that system can go out. So if I didn't have that system at the time, then I struggled with this one thing. So if I had said, hey, well, actually, here's my sheet. Like, I don't, does your buddy fit this criteria? My friend would have said no. And then I've been like, sorry, I'm not taking the call. Didn't waste my time. We can move on and actually make some progress with the business. So just, again, I think the other big lesson here that I learned was, as a sales professional, as a founder of your business, you're always selling, right? Everyone's always wearing a sales hat. Remember, the person that can say no has all the power. So if you can say, no, you're not a good fit to come into my business. A lot of times when I take sales calls, and I've heard Simon do the same thing, you don't really qualify. Like, I can't help you. That's sometimes the best thing you can ever say to a prospect. P.S. All right. Last question here. Simon, I don't think this is true, but I can't wait to ask you this question. I'm so excited right now. Have you ever struggled with convincing others to believe in your referral system's potential? And how did you handle the skepticism?
All the time, all the time, of course. Every week, probably like 30 people don't believe it. And why should they, right? Don't believe anybody. Verify. Don't trust. Verify. It's the internet. There can be fraud anywhere. So don't trust, verify. Everybody is skeptical. When I talk to them, especially if we don't have a relationship, right? If they just watched 3 YouTube videos and they jump on my calendar, why should they trust me?
Yeah.
It was just marketing so far. It wasn't real.
And you know what's the craziest shit of all things, dude? People are running paid ads right now saying, trust me, trust me, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Ugh.
Creates the opposite in me, right?
So I think the big lesson I learned there was basically from Frank Kern, right? So it's like one of the things and I changed this not too long ago, probably when I had dinner. I spent like a week with Frank. We were eating dinner one night. We started talking about like how he does his marketing. I think it's really unique. It's he's one of the greats. I've studied all the greats, and so for Frank, I think one of his key concepts is he never designed really any of his own marketing. He took what other people were using that were working and he just made it his own, right? So like that's a great lesson to learn from him. But then the second thing that he said that was even more important to me, and he had a plate. So imagine this is my little disc mini. So imagine this is my plate of food, and on my plate of food right here, I happen to have a little bit of lettuce. And then he had 2 pieces of pizza on the other side. And he goes, here's the deal. These slices of pizza that take up like 80% of this thing are your potential greatest clients. This little lettuce over here is the people that would actually buy from that paid ad. And he said, so what I did is I was looking at this. He said, I looked at the numbers of how long it takes from initial breakout or initial touch point with a prospect until they buy something from me on average across years. And he said the number was, I think he said it was like 48 days. So he said immediately that shifted my perspective on how I was marketing. Because what he said was all my marketing was, hey, buy my stuff now. And he was just capturing that 3% of the high D market that you would get if you do that stuff, which is cool, it works. And so Frank said, look, I changed my marketing to focus on building a relationship and that person actually going to buy from me in 30 to 60 days. Of course, I had call to actions on my stuff and everything else, but it was like, here's the value that I'm going to shower on you for 30, 45 days, because I know that's how long it takes, and I'm going to tell my team just to like lay off on the front side, and his business exploded. So what I started doing about 6, 8 months ago, and I've seen it start to really work for us now, is all your marketing should be tuned to bridge the introduction and then run it for a period. Now, in our case, our average is 41 days, or actually for me to close a deal is 41 days. My team's a little higher. Um, and so I know if I position the first piece of marketing out there, that's going to be like, hey, this person can buy in 41 days. What should I say to them today? And I start looking through that lens of building content. Guess what? Gets interesting.
I love this. And maybe our next episode should be why you should kill funnels, not have funnels. We have something
Well, we're
else.
doing we're doing storytelling, so we'll have to do
In
kill
2 weeks.
funnel.
In 2 weeks. So what we did a few years ago, we said we kill funnels. We just don't have funnels anymore. Instead, we will have orbits. So an orbit around a planet is based on mass, right? The more mass the planet has, the more it attracts other planets. And so how you can you create orbit around you? And this is why we started doing all these things like the Sprint Club and the Mastermind and all these things. Because now, okay, you have your message and you're helping a few people. Okay, cool. They orbit around you. Then you send them emails, so they still orbit here instead of, orbiting somewhere else. So they come back. Because it's fine. You're competing with all kinds of other things, right? Their dog, their family, their attention-seeking president, all kinds of stuff. And then, but if you create enough mass here, they will come back, right? They forget about it.
So
They go
good.
watch
It's
Netflix.
like that's a great analogy.
But they will come back. And then on that, you can now create additional things. So we started the mastermind. Now we have the app. The app is the ultimate orbit thing. Because right now people ask me, Simon, you were always a high ticket guy. Why do you have a low ticket offer now? And I said, because it's orbit. And I go, what? It's orbit. So if you are on their phone, that's orbit. That's mass. If they listen to you on a podcast, that's orbit. Because if you are in their ear 45 minutes every week, not even their wife has 45 minutes uninterrupted attention. That's orbit. It's mass. We want to give people.
I think I love this orbit concept. I'm going to actually definitely play with it because I think it's a cool one, and we should definitely talk about. It's not funnels, it's orbits.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be a great topic. But in the comments below, if you think that'd be a cool topic, drop that. Let us know. And any other topic you guys want to know about, we have an agenda, but we always listen to you guys first. So drop comments. This is a conversation, not just a one-way street. One of the things that I would share, the other way that it was
we have an agenda is an understatement. You have an agenda, and then I'm wondering what the agenda is.
But that makes it fun. It makes it different and innovative and fresh, and nobody knows what's going to happen. So that's why we love this pod. And thank you for tuning in, PS. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But check this out. The idea that I learned, which I think really complements the orbiting thing, is the business that has the most entry points. Now, Simon just said he has an app, he has a mastermind, he has a book, he has this pod, he has all his content on all the socials. Each one of those things creates mass. It's also an entry point. So if anyone who's ever seen him, they can pick and choose the entry point they like the most, and they can consume content the way they like to consume content because Simon is omnipresent. That's what it means to go conversation domination across all channels. When you have every modality that the way somebody can consume and you're just all over the place, think Nike, right? They have more entry points than almost anyone on the planet, and they sell more shoes than anyone on the planet. So it's this idea of you got to slowly create new entry points. Now, when you're first starting, this is really challenging to do. Choose one and stick with one until you make like $1 million. Then you have a little bit of cash flow. Now you can start generating new entry points. So like in case in point, when I started most every one of my businesses, it's always been block and tackle, one-to-one, close a deal on the call, and then get a new client and help them succeed. Go back and repeat the action, right? So I've done that for 30 years. I've trained hundreds of, I should say, like 8,000 people that I've trained to do this, right? So it's quite a few people. And that's the key. So find one avenue that helps and then create other entry points. So what do I mean? So I'm doing one-to-one block and tackles sales one-on-one on a call. Now I want to say, oh, hey, I've got this cool lead magnet. So now I've created this lead magnet based on what I've heard, and I've put it into some of my content. So I'm publishing, people can absorb my lead magnet. And guess what? Instead of me block and tackling through like DMs, they just book a call right from this entry point. Same thing with Simon. Somebody gets in the app. They're like, damn, this is amazing. I can't believe you got Jay Abraham's content in here. This is insane. You're giving it to me for free until April 1st. Like, what am I thinking? Like, by the way, if you don't have the app, go get it now so you can get that stuff. And then it's like, I like the app. I'm going to consume more Simon stuff. Entry point for them, right? So it's this idea of like creating more and more entry points as your business can afford and grow and scale with them. And don't suffocate it by trying to do like 50 at once. Focus on one first. Make it work. Build the next one. Build the next one. This is how you build an infrastructure that's impenetrable. So
that's Orbit.
And with that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. We're just going to land it on one word: is create an orbit for your business. You will win. If you don't know what that means, we're going to talk about it in 2 weeks. But next week, we'll be back to talk about storytelling in sales specifically. We may even have a guest speaker. Really excited about this. Simon, thank you for being here. Take us home, man. What you got to say?
See you next week, everyone. I love you. Keep rolling. Thanks, Sean, for holding the space and being so amazing. See you next week.
Bye now.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
This would run well even when you are on vacation. Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your